Hey, welcome to Polish with Ray. I'm Rachel, and today I'm going to be sharing with you items that will be available for the January 2022, it feels so good to say that, Polish Pickup Shop. Before we get started, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. That lets me know you enjoy my Polish Pickup review videos, and if you haven't already subscribed, you definitely should. I come out with new live swatching videos every week. So this month's Polish Pickup theme is Spices and Condiments. You all, when I tell you this is a fun theme, it is a fun theme. I'm totally loving it. Like, I never imagined I would want guacamole on my nails, but now I'm kind of here for it. This one shop will open on January 7th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and will be open through January 10th. The Polish Pickup site and app will open for wish listing the Sunday before the shop opens. This month, that is on January 2nd. There's no set time for it to open for wish listing. It's just whenever they can get the site ready, so you can just be like me and click refresh over and over and over. Some of the items I'm going to share with you in today's video do have a cap, which means the maker is making a limited quantity of those items. Once they sell out, they're gone. So if you like anything that has a cap or has a low cap, make sure you start shopping as soon as the shop opens on January 7th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you're brand new to shopping Polish Pickup, I recommend checking out my description box. I have some tips down there, more details on how the shop works, all that good stuff listed down there for you to hopefully help make your shopping experience a little easier, because I know for first-time buyers it can be a little bit overwhelming. All right, we do have a lot of beautiful items to look at today, so let's go ahead and get into the swatches. If this is your first time watching, we are going to check out the contributions I have to share with you in rainbow order. We're beginning with Drk Lacquer, and they're bringing us Mr. Rogue's Special Sauce. It's described as being an oxblood holographic with red to gold shifting shimmer and holographic flakes. This one is going to be $13 and does have a pending cap, so that means maybe it won't have a cap, maybe it will. We'll just have to stay tuned on this one. The inspiration for this one is HP sauce, which is basically a British steak sauce, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So the base of this one is a little bit more brown leaning, but all of that warm gold red shimmer inside of it really does give it a reddened feel. I always get so excited when Rogue makes shimmer polishes because they are incredibly shifty, but somehow crazy opaque. This one was almost a one coater. You can see it's got great coverage on that first coat. It was a little bit uneven in some spots, so I did go in for 2 and reached full opacity. I can't see anyone needing more than just 2 coats with this one. So the finished look, you can see the brown base at some angles, truly an oxblood, but then it has that warm, glowy shimmer, and of course, the gorgeous flaky holographic too. Here's what 2 coats looks like in some lower outdoor lighting. Again, you get some brown, some red, some copper, even I feel like some greenish in there. It's really beautiful and perfect for this time of year. Pictured are 2 coats of Mr. Rogue's Special Sauce from Drk Lacquer. Continuing on with our reds, this month from Bluebird Lacquer, we get Spice Baby. Bum, 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 bum. Spice Baby is described as being a red hot chili pepper red with shattered holographic. It's going to retail for $12. There will be no cap, and it is, of course, inspired by the chili pepper. So this polish is what I would consider to be a true primary red. It doesn't lean orange. It doesn't lean pink. It is like your classic quintessential red, which to me means it is perfect for all seasons. I love this kind of shade in the summer. I love it around the holidays. This color can be worn any time of year. And this finish from Bluebird is just spectacular. It has beautiful opacity and coverage, basically opaque on that first coat, but I did go in for 2 just to add a little extra plumpness. This is another one I can't see anyone needing more than 2 coats on. I think 2 will be just perfect for everybody, and it's just incredibly sparkly and glitzy. It's so beautiful. So here's what 2 coats of Spice Baby looks like with a glossy top coat and some sunlight. Those hollow flakes just sparkle, creating like almost a jeweled effect on the nail. If you're a red polish lover like I am, you won't want to miss this one. Pictured are 2 coats of Spice Baby from Bluebird Lacquer. Up next from Drk Nails, we have Sumac Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. How could I not sing all of these titles? So this was described as being a red jelly base filled with super bright aurora pigment that shifts red to pink to orange to gold. This one actually, it says, is versatile enough to be used as a topper. In today's video, I just show you what it looks like built up on its own, but noted. So this one is going to retail for $13.31. Interesting price. And we'll also have a cap of 331 bottles. An interesting cap as well. It's unfortunate that this one has a cap because it is so incredibly beautiful. It's one that I wouldn't be very surprised to see sell out this month. The shimmer in it, the aurora pigment, is incredibly reflective. It almost gives kind of a metallic-y feel. On application, this one was a little bit sheer on that first coat, but does have a red jelly base. So if you did want to use it as a topper, I would recommend wearing it over another red or a pink or maybe a black, a darker color, because over a lighter color, it's going to change the base. On the second coat, we start to get a better buildup of that red base, more of that beautiful aurora pigment. And then on the third coat, I reached very close to full opacity. If I really looked, I can see some nail line, but it's not super noticeable. So here's what it looks like built up in 3 coats with a glossy top coat and some bright outdoor lighting. Doesn't this just give you beautiful beach sunset vibes? Like the gold aurora shimmer is like the sun and the pink is the sky, and it's so beautiful even in lower lighting. Here's what it looks like in shaded lighting, and you still get that gorgeous glow. Absolutely beautiful. Pictured are 3 coats of Sumac Me Feel Like a Natural Woman from Drk Nails. Moving on to our oranges, Fair Maiden Polish brings us Tajin Queen, which is described as being an orange-yellow neon with pink aurora shimmer and red metallic micro flakes. It's going to retail for $11, and there will be no cap for this one. It's, of course, inspired by one of my favorite spices, Tajin. I love Tajin. And I think Fair Maiden did a wonderful job with the inspiration. The base is a true neon. It even glows in black light, orangey yellow shade. It's very unique, and it's got these moon-shaped red metallic flakes and subtle shimmer pigments as well. It's unlike anything else I have in my collection. On application, Tajin Queen had a crelly-like base. As you can see on the first coat, you still see quite a bit of that nail line, but I didn't have any trouble getting out those beautiful red metallic flakes or that pretty shimmer. In 2 coats, I still had some nail line, so I did go in for 3 and reached full opacity. If you've got longer nails, you may want to end up pairing it with a blurring base coat of some sort, because I could see some people with longer nails having a little bit of visible nail line even after 3 coats. So here's what Tajin Queen looks like in 3 coats with a glossy top coat in some shaded lighting, and that bright yellow orange base just glows. It is a fun color. And again, I just love the different flakes and shimmers in here. Pictured are 3 coats of Tajin Queen from Fair Maiden Polish. Up next from Leesha's Lacquer, we have Spicy Mayo. I bet you can guess the inspiration for this one. It's described as being a heavily yellow-leaning orange curly base that's loaded with red and gold micro flecks. It's going to retail for $12, and there will be no cap. This is another one, the inspiration. Round of applause. I love it. It looks just like Spicy Mayo, and I love Spicy Mayo. I'm a big sushi fan. So the base for this, I would almost consider it to be like a pastel yellowy orange, like a pastel yellow with a little bit of orange in it. And I see the gold flecks in there, but because the base is so yellow, they do blend into the base a little bit. So the red flecks are what really capture your attention. On application, this one was smooth and easy to work with. True to its description, it has a more curly-like base, so we see a lot of nail line on that first coat, and as we continue to build it to 3 coats, I get closer to full opacity, but I can still see some visible nail line in 3. I would say that if you go in for 2 thinner coats and a 3rd thicker coat or even 3 thicker coats, that visible nail line shouldn't be a problem for you because I do have a pretty prominent V and L. This might also be a good candidate for a blurring base, which again, I will link below. So here's Spicy Mayo built up in 3 coats with a glossy top coat. It smoothed out really well with a glossy top coat, and I didn't have any issue removing the flakes. If you're someone who likes Spicy Mayo, this polish is guaranteed to make you smile. Pictured are 3 coats of Spicy Mayo from Leesha's Lacquer. Our next orange is orange in fragrance, not in color. You see what I did there? It comes from Pretty Beautiful Unlimited, and it is a wax melt in the scent sweet vanilla, orange, and spice. So the notes of this, it has Valencia orange, bergamot, tangerine zest, and orange juice, followed by the spicy fusion of clove, ground pepper, chili pepper, and cinnamon with a base of vanilla bean, rich amber, sandalwood, and cashmere musk. This 6-tab wax melt will retail for $6 and there will be no cap, and it is 2.5 ounces. So when I smell this, I get a whole lot of the orange and a lot of the vanilla and sugar. It almost reminds me of like a sweet orange dreamsicle cake. I get a little bit of the spiciness if I lean in close, but honestly, what I get most is that delicious sweet orange smell. So if you're a fan of citrus and sweetness, then I think this is a fragrance you'll really enjoy. Plus, it's got some really pretty coloring to it and gorgeous glitter. Moving on to our yellows now, from Pampered Polishes, we have Past the Poupon. This one's described as being a creamy mustard yellow curly with copper to red to orange and green to aqua to blue ultra chrome chameleon flakes, accented with a scattering of holographic. It's going to retail for $12.50, and there will be no cap for this one. Of course, this is inspired by Dijon mustard. So I definitely agree with the description that this is a bright, beautiful yellow mustard shade. It has just a slight orange lean to it. It's really beautiful and unique and just a happy kind of color. The flakes are very shifty and interesting. As you can see, you've got the red ones and then the more green ones, and then the hollow too. On application, I was very impressed with this. You guys know that yellows are usually so hard to formulate, but this one went on smooth. It was very easy to work with. I would say most people will reach full opacity with this one between 2 and 3 coats, depending on your application and your nail length. So here's what 2 coats of Past the Poupon looks like with a glossy top coat and some lower outdoor lighting. Shades like this just make me so happy. I love bright yellows. They're perfect for summertime, but where this one is just slightly deeper than a lot of bright summer yellows, I feel like it can be worn into fall as well. Pictured are 2 coats of Past the Poupon from Pampered Polishes. That was a lot of P's. Moving on to our greens now, I do have quite a few of those to share with you this month. This one comes from Cupcake Polish and it's called I Know It's Extra. And it's described as a medium green cream nail polish filled with red to gold iridescent flakies and scattered red and gold metallic flakes. This one's going to retail for $13. There's no cap, and it is inspired by guacamole. And I love the name. I love the inspo. I don't know that I would say the base of this is a true guacamole green. I feel like green is just a little bit darker, and this has kind of a seafoamy quality to it, but I love it nonetheless. I think the flakies really contrast beautifully in this unique green base, and they shift red, orange, green. It kind of reminds me of the tomatoes and the red onion that you would find in guacamole. Really cute concept, and surprisingly for me, because I don't love greens, a really fun polish to wear. On application, this one went on super smooth. We do have a little bit of visible nail line in that first coat, but I was wowed by how well this built up in the second coat. In fact, I felt comfortable leaving it in 2 because I didn't have any visible nail line in 2 coats. However, if you have longer nails, you may want to go in for that third. So here's what I Know It's Extra looks like in 2 coats with a glossy top coat and some sunlight. Check out those flakes, people. This is another one that's just super unique to my collection. I think it's very unique for cupcake polish in general, and I am excited to see them doing a crazy green. Pictured are 2 coats of I Know It's Extra from Cupcake Polish. Next up from KBShimmer is Say It Ain't Cilantro, which is described as an herb green polish loaded with a blend of reflective pigments. In regular lighting, like what you're seeing here, you get a deep, almost cilantro leaf green hue that subtly catches the light for a muted twinkle. And then when you take this into the dark and put flash on it, or you're out at nighttime and a street light shines on it, the color vivifies and it shows off a bold and sparkly lime hue. This polish is going to retail for $11 and there will be no cap. So in regular lighting, my studio lighting, office lighting, what you see most of the time is what's in the bottle here. And it's got a really soft, almost sagey, dusty kind of green shade. It's very unique and I think perfect for this time of year. As you can see, this has a clear base, but it is packed with those reflective pigments. They build up really quickly, so if you haven't worked with a reflective glitter bomb before, you'll want to go in for thin coats because they can build up and get thick quick. So I opted to go in for 3 thin coats. You could also go in for 2 thicker coats. I should have let that last coat dry a little bit better. But here's what it looks like in 3 coats dry down. They do dry down flat and very texture and gritty, kind of like a sand-like finish. So you'll want to layer them with a glitter smoother if you want a smoothed out finish. But here's what it looks like with no top coat whatsoever in the sunlight. As you can see, those reflective glitters do twinkle beautifully in the sun. They are so pretty. They have kind of a different look than they do under flashlight and in regular lighting. Like, look at that twinkle. That's really, really beautiful. And then, of course, where these polishes shine best is when you take them into the dark and you shine flashlight on them. And here's what that looks like. Wow. Like, that is absolutely crazy. It never fails to blow my mind what these reflective polishes can do with a flashlight on them. Like, the color totally transforms. It's not a soft sagey green anymore. Now it's a bright lime green and just so fun. Beautiful in different kinds of lighting. Highly recommend this polish, especially if you like green. Pictured are 3 coats of Say It Ain't Cilantro from KBShimmer. Up next from Night Owl Lacquer, we have Sweet and Spicy. This is a green multi-chrome that shifts from a bronzy green to a yellowy green to a bright green to a deep green. It is going to retail for $13. There will be no cap, and it's inspired by jalapeno jelly. So in the bottle, I was not excited about this polish because it's a multi-chrome and multi-chromes are my favorite finish, and it's green, and I've mentioned before green is not my favorite color, although it is starting to grow on me a lot more than it used to. Like, look at it. How could I not fall in love with this one? I mean, it is absolutely sick. It's ridiculous how reflective the shift is. It's truly chromatic, and yeah, it's maybe one of my favorite green nail polishes now. Application was wonderful too. Look how opaque it is on the first coat, and it quickly built up in the second coat to reach full opacity. I think most people will be good in 2 coats with this one, but if you've got longer nails, maybe you'll need 3, maybe. So here in that bright lighting, you get that primary base with the yellow green shift. Gosh, look how electrifying that is. It's gorgeous. And then as you move your hand around, you get a more cool toned green shift, a deeper green shift. The gold becomes more prominent in other lightings. The bronze stands out in others. It's just constantly shifting between all of these shades of green. It's spectacular. If you like green, you need this one too. I'm sorry. Pictured are 2 coats of Sweet and Spicy from Night Owl Lacquer. Up next is a contribution from Pepper Pot Polish called Bury Me in a Vat of Chimichurri. I love the name. Again, just love the inspo. This one is described as being a murky green base with multiple shades of green glitter, blue to green UCC flakes, and copper shimmer. This one's going to retail for $11.50, and there will be no cap. How dead on, how spot on is this polish? Wow, I am so impressed. Like, I look in this bottle and I see chimichurri. I see the olive oil base. I see the garlic. I see all the spices, the cilantro, the parsley. It's all there. It's incredible. On application, this one was very sheer on that first coat. You get like a wash of color, but you do get a lot of those glitters and flakies out no problem. I didn't leave this one upside down. I didn't shake it. I didn't swirl or fish for glitters, but I had no problem getting them out on the nail. On the second coat, we get more of that development of the green base. And in 3 coats, I would say it's pretty true to color from what you see in the bottle, although there is quite a bit of visible nail line. Again, that is a constant struggle for me because I have a really prominent visible nail line, but if you don't, you might be very close to full opacity in 3 coats. For me in the future, I would pair this one with a blurring base coat. So here's what Bury Me in a Vat of Chimichurri looks like in 3 coats and some sunlight. Look at all the components and how beautifully they work together. The glitters, the flakies, the shimmer. And I will say in regular everyday lighting, as you can see, the nail line is much less prominent. Pictured are 3 coats of Bury Me in a Vat of Chimichurri from Pepper Pot Polish. Next up, I have Paradox Polish's contribution to share with you. It is called Crocus Sativus, or saffron. This one is described as being a deep violet blurple with red to orange to pink to yellow flakes and scattered holographic. This one's going to retail for $13. There will be no cap, and it is inspired by saffron. In general, I was fully unprepared for how beautiful this polish is. This was my first time trying Paradox polish, and why did I wait so long? Why did no one tell me to make it a priority? Because I should have been wearing them all along. This polish is beautiful. It does have a blurple base, but it's coming off a little bit more blue on camera. You'll see its true color on the nail. Wow. Wow. Need I say more? I don't think I do. It does have a jelly base. It's smooth. It goes on perfectly. It's so even, zero patchiness, very pigmented. I didn't get staining with any of the polishes I'm sharing with you today, but I would wear a base coat just to be safe. In 2 coats, I could see a little bit of nail line, so I did go in for 3 and reached full opacity. You can kind of detect the nail line. It looks kind of blue in the video, but you can't really see it in real life. Gosh, this is gorgeous. I am in awe. So here's what Crocus Sativus looks like in 3 coats and some sunlight. Be Still My Heart. Just so many shifts. It's so glowy, bold, and vibrant. I love this polish. I love this polish. Yep, that's it. I don't know what else to say. It's beautiful. Pictured are 3 coats of Crocus Sativus from Paradox Polish. Continuing on with our purples, which by the way, purple lovers, the makers came for you again. We have so many purples this month. This one comes from Heather's Hues and it's called Starflower. It's described as a trithermal that shifts between purple when cold, periwinkle blue when transitioning, and when it's warm, it turns to a very pale lavender color. It features silver reflective glitters, which you see in the bottle there, as well as some pink to purple to red iridescent shifting flakes. It's going to retail for $12 and there will be no cap, and it's inspired by borage. So I would say the cold state, which is what you're seeing now in the bottle, is kind of a dusty, soft, more muted purple, kind of like a grapey purple, which contrasts really nicely with those pink and red shifting flakes, as well as the silver reflective glitters. If you're not so much loving the reflective glitter balm polishes, this might be a great way to ease yourself into the whole reflective glitter trend because they're in there as a component, but they don't consume the polish. You also get to see those beautiful flakies. And honestly, these more sparse reflective glitters are so much easier to remove and can be smoothed out easily with just a glossy top coat, no glitter smoother needed. So on the second coat, this Heather's Hues did reach close to full opacity in its cold state, but with these thermal polishes, I always go in for 3 just so they're opaque in their warm state. And you can see just how quickly it's transitioning to that beautiful periwinkle blue. It's so pretty. So here's what it looks like built up in 3 coats with a glossy top coat. Again, that smoothed it out just fine. In its cold state, it's a beautiful pinky purple, pinky toned purple, I should say, more of like a plum or violet color. And then in its in-between state, I got kind of a pinkish purple shade. You'll see it on my center finger there, and then in its warm state it becomes that beautiful periwinkle color. Quite sheer in those 3 coats in its warm state. You will see some visible nail line if you have a prominent free edge to your nail. And then here's what it looks like under flashlight in the dark. Those silver reflective glitters are so pretty. This kind of thermal is just perfect for winter time. Pictured are 3 coats of Starflower from Heather's Hues, transitioning from cold to warm, and then with a flashlight. In the indie pickup shop this month, Heather's Hues brings us their WITS lotion. This 2-ounce tub is going to retail for $7.25, and there will be a 50 tub cap. The scent is called Bergamot and Tarragon, and it's described as a fresh fragrance with top notes of bergamot and grapefruit mixed with basil, tarragon, and green leaves, and rounded out with hints of jasmine, hyacinth, geranium, and oak moss. If you haven't tried Heather's Hues WITS lotion before, I couldn't recommend it more. That rhymed and I didn't mean for it to. But it's one of my favorite lotions. It's highly moisturizing. My skin feels so nourished after I use it. It doesn't leave my skin feeling sticky or heavy or weighed down at all. And it's got lots of really moisturizing ingredients like avocado oil. It does have some almond nut oils in there. So if you have allergies, keep that in mind. It also has a jojoba oil, lots of nourishing extracts to help keep your skin moisturized throughout the day and for a good amount of time. In terms of the fragrance, just being honest, it's not my favorite. Tarragon smells strongly of anise or black licorice, which is not my kind of scent. So if you're a fan of anise, if you like the scent of black licorice, I know you will love this lotion. Definitely be sure to pick it up. This month, Patty Lopez brings us Purple Beauty, which is described as a stunning purple base with an Aurora foil shimmer. I've tried saying that like 3 times. So Aurora foil shimmer. It's going to retail for $13. There will be a 150 bottle cap, and this is inspired by the saffron flower. Again, popular inspiration because it's beautiful and this polish is beautiful. I will be completely shocked if it doesn't sell out, and in the event that it doesn't, I will be buying a backup bottle because I love this polish. I said it. I love it so much. It's absolutely beautiful. You may have noticed that, unfortunately, my label got a little bit damaged when this arrived to me in the post. There was a lot of leakage with my bottle, and when I tried to remove it, the acetone got in the label and removed the label. So that was sad, but I don't care because this polish is so pretty, you all. It built up to opacity or very close to it for me in 3 coats. If you've got longer nails, you may still see some visible nail line, but I was happy with how it looked in 3. Now, you all, this is stunning in studio lights, but wait till you see it in lower outdoor lighting. Your jaw is gonna drop. Look at that. Look at that. All the colors I see: blue, gold, pink, green, purple, teal. Oh my gosh, like an entire rainbow inside this polish. And then here's what it looks like in sunlight. Ah, gosh, I'm just gritting ear to ear. This polish is magnificent. It is gorgeous. It is one I highly recommend. Pictured are 3 coats of Purple Beauty from Indie Polish by Patty Lopez. Next up, from Sassy Sauce Polish, we have Saffron Sizzle. It's described as being a shifty multi-chrome shimmer that shifts pink to gold to green in a lightly tinted indigo base, and it's finished with red to black multi-chrome flakes. This one's going to retail for $12.50 and will be capped at 300 bottles. Another one I wouldn't be that surprised to sell out because it's just so incredibly shifty. In the bright lighting, you get a lot of that pink shimmer shift, and you can kind of see the indigo on the sides of the bottle there, and of course the red to black multi-chrome flakes as well. But then when you take it into lower lighting, which I will show you, you get some incredible shifts. On application, this one had a smooth and easy to work with formula. I love Sassy Sauce Polish's brush. It makes application all the more easy, but you can see I got a ton of red to black multi-chrome flakes on that first coat, and I just love that they come in such a variety of sizes. Some are larger, some are more dainty and delicate, and they all look so pretty against that purple base. This one I did need 3 coats to build up to opacity, but if you have shorter nails than me, I could see you maybe getting away with 2. So here's what Saffron Sizzle looks like in some lower outdoor lighting built up in 3 coats. We get to see that beautiful pinky purple shift as well as the gold, the green. There's maybe like a rose gold shift in there too. And then it's just covered with those red to black multi-chrome flakes. So much complexity in this polish. Pictured are 3 coats of Saffron Sizzle from Sassy Sauce Polish. Next up from Penelope Lou's, we have Pretty Food, which is described as being a polish with iridescent purple flakes, black flakes, and purple holographic micro glitter. This one is going to retail for $13, and there will be a 500 bottle cap, and the inspiration is pickled red cabbage. Such a fun inspo, and again, I absolutely see it in this polish. I think the makers did a really wonderful job with that this month. So this polish has a clear base, and it's just packed with all of those different kinds of flakes. We've got purple, they shift to blue, or they appear to, and then there's black flakies as well as some holographic micro glitter thrown in. So lots of fun packed into one polish. Since this one has a clear base, it's very sheer on that first coat, and I was actually unsure when I was applying this for the first time if it would build up to opacity, and it actually gets really close. Again, I think if you don't have a prominent nail line, you will be able to get this to full opacity in 3 coats. I know some other swatchers were able to, but my nail line is so noticeable that I could still see it in 3 coats. In the future, I might put it over black or even wear it as a topper over a lighter color. You know, I think that would actually be best because if you swatched it over black, I think you would lose those beautiful black flakies. And that's part of what gives this polish so much dimension is all the great flakies in this mixture. So here's what Pretty Food looks like built up in 3 coats. In the sunlight, which you're looking at here, those flakes just reflect the light so beautifully. They're so shiny and shifty from blue to purple. And then again, the black flakes create a lot of depth and interest. And then I love this one even more in lower lighting. It almost has like a multi-chrome feel to it, shifting from red to purple to blue, and definitely reminds me of red cabbage. Pictured are 3 coats of Pretty Food from Penelope Lou's. Up next from MTK Design, we have Death Soup, which is described as being a rich, dark plum brown when cool. That's what you're seeing in the bottle here. And as it warms up, it turns to a ghostly, mushroomy grayish, infused with all the green herbaceousness. So it's got some green shimmers in there. At some angles, they look green. Others, they look more blue. Very, very pretty. This one was inspired by the Scarborough Fair song, specifically parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. It's going to retail for $12 and there will be no cap. So this is a really beautiful thermal. I wasn't quite sure where to put it in the colors because sometimes it looks brown, other times it looks purple. Next to all these purples, I feel like it looks brown, but next to brown, it looks purple. It does have a jelly base, so it's quite sheer on that first coat, but you can already see how quickly it's warming up on me. This transitioned very easily, so if you're someone who has a hard time getting thermals to transition for you, this may be one you want to try. I had absolutely no issue getting it to warm up. In its warm state, since it's almost clear, you are going to have some visible nail line, but I had full coverage in a nice, beautiful, dark plummy color for this one in 3 coats. So here's what Death Soup looks like in 3 coats in the sunshine. You can see it's trying to transition to that warm state, but on the tips of my nails, you can see just how deep and dark this color gets when it's really cold, and how beautiful is that shimmer. It just sparkles a bright green. It's gorgeous. And then here's what it looks like built up in 3 coats in its warm state. I definitely agree with the description. It's almost clear, but it has a slight grayish lean to it. Very interesting. Pictured are 3 coats of MTK Design Death Soup transitioning from cold to warm. Up next from Wildflower Lacquer is another top pick this month. This is Wild Hibiscus, and it's described as being a plum base with red to gold to green shifting shimmer. and both scattered and linear holographic. So this one's going to retail for $13, and thankfully there will be no cap. I think a lot of people are going to grab this, so glad it doesn't have a cap. The hollow in here is fabulous. It just sparkles from every angle since it has the linear and the scattered. And it does also have a beautiful shimmer running throughout. It is so highly pigmented though that sometimes you can't see the shimmer. Sometimes you mostly see that beautiful orchidy plummy purple base color, but in bright lighting you can see all of the shifts, which of course I will show you. So do you see this coverage? Yeah, basically opaque in one coat. If you are in a rush, you could be out the door with one coat, but I did go in for two, and I think two coats will be perfect for everyone on this one. So here's what wild hibiscus looks like in the sunlight. You all, this is completely mesmerizing. There's so much hollow pigment packed in here. And do you see that shimmer just sparkling? Red to copper to gold to green. It is absolutely fantastic. Huge fan of this one too. If you can grab it, I think you'll love it. Pictured are 2 coats of wild hibiscus from Wildflower Lacquer. Another huge standout for me this month comes from Cuticula. It's called Chip Chip Hooray! And it's described as being a violet plum jelly base with glass flakes in purple to red, blue to green, and orange to gold. This one's going to retail for $13. Thank goodness there is no cap. And this is inspired by Tostitos salsa restaurant style. If you look at the inspiration picture in the Polish Pickup Pack Facebook group, which I will have linked below, if you're not part of it, you definitely should join. This is so good. This polish inspiration is just so good. It has me tickled. Anyway, the base of this is a beautiful plum, but what you see most are those fabulous flakies. Yes, these are the flakies that are in Dragon Glass. If you remember Dragon Glass from Cuticula from October's Polish Pickup Shop, I want to say the Elements one. You know, I went gaga for that polish. I know a lot of you did too. If you love that one and you love pink, gosh, you're gonna love this polish. As you all know, I'm sure, I am such a huge purple pink fan, and this one with those flakes is just maddening. It's absolutely beautiful. It builds up to its best opacity in 3 coats. I couldn't see any nail line in 2 coats, but you don't get that gorgeous, vibrant base color until you get that 3rd coat. And it is truly worth it to add the 3rd. So here's what Chip Chip Hooray looks like built up in 3 coats and some lower lighting. You all, these flakes. Like, I'm over here losing my cool. They are unlike anything I've ever seen. Give me all of the polishes with these flakes, please, please. And then here's what they look like in sunlight. They're beautiful there too, but in lower lighting and with a matte top coat, which I will show you in a second, they just are incredible. Pictured are 3 coats of Chip Chip Hooray from Cuticula. Coming to the indie pickup shop this month from Cuticula is the Cloud Cover Matte Top Coat. It's in the scent Mango Papaya because the maker Amanda wanted to continue the salsa theme. I love that. So this top coat gives the perfect chalkboard finish. I hadn't ever tried their top coat before making this video, and I was shocked. It is now my new favorite. It's 5 free, so it's freed of formaldehyde, toluene, DBP, formaldehyde resin, and camphor. It's also fast drying. Look how incredibly matte it becomes over Chip Chip Hooray. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's going to retail for $9.50 and will have no cap. And of course, gosh, it looks gorgeous over this polish, but it mattifies beautifully over anything. Up next from Linby Design, we have Bready to Jam. Is that not the best name ever? And it's described as being a wild berry tinted base with pink to orange to yellow shifting shimmer, holographic micro flakies, and linear holographic. It's going to retail for $13 and will not have a cap. So this is a beautiful, bright, vibrant, fun, light purple shade. It's got a lot of pink in it, but I think part of that is that beautiful pink shimmer. In bright lighting, it appears mostly pink, but as you take your hands into lower lighting, you do see some of the orange and yellow shifts there as well. And of course, the linear hollow and the hollow flakes, again with the double hollow, the linear and scattered together. I'm all about it. I want to see more of that. On application, this one did have a sheer formula, but it was smooth and very easy to work with. I was able to reach full opacity in just 3 coats. I think 3 coats will suit most people. The base color for this one is super soft. It reminds me of fresh spring flowers, and I think it would be flattering on almost every skin tone. So here's what Ready to Jam looks like, built up in 3 coats and some direct lighting. We get a lot of sparkle from those beautiful holographic flakes. And as you move your hand into indirect lighting, which you see here, you get some of the gold and orange shifts as well. Really, really pretty polish. Pictured are 3 coats of Ready to Jam from Lynn B Designs. Lynn B Designs brings a wax melt to the indie pickup shop this month. This is called Spice Up Your Life. I love that. It's priced at $5 and will have a 110 cap. So the fragrance notes for this are, it has top notes of ozone, chili pepper, and caramelized sugar, middle notes of orange, mandarin, guava, and custard, and base notes of peppercorn, coconut, benzoin, and maple. Every time I smell this, I smell something different. It's so interesting and I love it. It smells yummy, but the ozone adds a little bit of freshness. The chili pepper adds some spiciness. There's sugar and some citrus notes, so it has that sour and sweet smell. It's so complex and I am a fan of this. I think this is a very complex scent, but I absolutely love it. If I try to describe what I smell without reading the notes, I definitely smell some freshness. So I think that's the ozone. I get a little bit of the spiciness, probably coming from the chili pepper. And then I get a lot of the orange and custard scents because I can smell some citrus. And then something about it, maybe the coconut and maple too, make it smell a little bit like bakery. It's delicious. One more polish in this pinky purple category, and it's called Smut is a Must. It comes from Bee's Knees Lacquer, and it's described as being a soft mauve to purple pastel multi-chrome nail polish with rose gold metallic flakes. This will retail for $13. There will be no cap, and it's inspired by spicy book scenes. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. Okay, so the base for this one in bright lighting, you get like a blue toned purple, like almost an indigo shade, and it's like submerged underneath these beautiful rose gold flakes. This has a similar formula to Guishine, which came out in the Monsters polish pickup a few months ago from Bee's Knees Lacquer. So they say it dries with a little bit of texture. In my experience, it doesn't dry so much textured as it dries down flat. It smooths out just fine, in my opinion, with a glossy top coat. So on the first coat, Smut is a Must is quite sheer. I almost feel like it would make a really cool topper over black. I wish I had tried that now, but it does build up beautifully on its own too. I was able to reach full opacity in 3 coats. Gosh, this one is so insanely gorgeous and just unique. I love what Bee's Knees Lacquer is doing with these flakies recently. So here's what 3 coats of Smut is a Must looks like in outdoor lighting. In the sunlight, you mostly see that purple shimmer with the rose gold flakies on top, but then when you take it into lower lighting, you get a beautiful shift from purple to mauve. Do you see it mauve on the cuticle? It's so pretty and very interesting. Pictured are 3 coats of Smut is a Must from Bee's Knees Lacquer. And I have one beautiful pink to share with you this month. It comes from Glisten and Glow, and it's called Sweet and Low on the Go. Love that name too. So Sweet and Low on the Go is described as a beautiful, soft bubblegum pink polish loaded with blue to purple iridescent flakes and added aqua and blue shimmer. It's going to retail for $13, and there will be no cap for this one. I was very perplexed by the inspiration with this one. I was like, wait a second, is Sweet and Low really a spice or a condiment? And then I thought, well, if it's not, what is it? It's not an ingredient. You don't like bake with it. I don't know. Anyway, it looks a lot like Sweet and Low. So Definitely matches the inspiration. On application, this one has a jelly base. It's packed with those flakies, and sometimes I find that polishes that have these iridescent flakies can be a little bit on the thicker side. So I would suggest going in for 3 thin coats, and I think you will get beautiful coverage. I actually only went in for 2 coats in the live swatch here, but then added a third for the full hand swatch because I could see just a little bit of nail line. So here's what 3 coats of Sweet and Low on the Go looks like. It's a very refreshing, vibrant, bright, cool toned bubblegum pink. And that iridescent flake and sparkle just add a subtle glow to the polish. It's really pretty. Pictured are 3 coats of Sweet and Low on the Go from Glisten and Glow. Try saying that 5 times fast. You'll also be able to purchase the Glisten and Glow Glitter Grabber in the Indie Pickup Shop this month. If you're not familiar with this product, you should grab it. It is an absolutely wonderful glitter smoother. It's great for any glitter or flaky, dense polish. What you do is you apply the polish, you let it dry down completely, apply a coat of this, the Glisten and Glow Glitter Grabber, let that dry completely, and then add a top coat, and it smooths it out to give a beautiful gel-like shine. It's going to retail for $8, and there will be no cap, and it is a 15 milliliter bottle. Here is some evidence for you of how beautifully this product works. So here is a textured polish. This is Zoya Godiva, one of their Pixie Dust shades. And I added a coat of the Glisten and Glow Glitter Grabber and the Glisten and Glow Quick Dry Top Coat. And here is the finished result. How incredible is that? Gosh, such a transformation. And this is going to be your go-to if you decide to buy any of the reflective glitter polishes and you want a beautiful smooth shine. A top coat's not going to do it. You're going to want to add a coat of a glitter smoother for sure. Moving into some neutrals now. From Garden Path Lacquers this month, we get a rat with a whisk and a dream. And it's described as being a clear base filled with copper glitter, copper reflex, green shifting aurora shimmer, and orange to green flakes. It's going to retail for $13 and there will be no cap. This is inspired by Remy from Ratatouille. So this polish is another one that's just so incredibly complex. We get the contrast between that more coppery shift and the beautiful green aurora shimmer. There's lots of incredibly beautiful holographic glitter in here, and then the orange to green flakies as well. I was so pleasantly surprised with how this one applied. Even though it has a clear base, there are just so many components in there and they're packed in this polish that I reached full opacity in 3 coats. That green is so gorgeously glowy, and the shift between the green to the copper with the hollow is just, it's very sparkly. This one was incredibly shifty. So here's what it looks like in 3 coats and some lower outdoor lighting. We get the green, we get the copper. At some angles, we see even some blue. Here's what it looks like in my studio lighting. I tried to replicate what it would look like in the sunlight. I've had a lot of shade here lately. But as you can see, the holographic is just complete wow. And the green is so sparkly. I almost think that Caitlin Swatches would consider this to be a ghostly polish. If you know, you know. Because when it shifts, it almost appears to disappear, and then you get the green and blue glow. It's beautiful. Pictured are 3 coats of a rat with a whisk and a dream from Garden Path Lacquers. Up next from Stella Chroma this month, we have Here I Go, which is described as being a matte beige with warm glitters of bronze and gold and holographic as well. It's going to retail for $13. There will be no cap, and this is inspired by Salt and Peppa's Shoop, of course. I found this polish to be super classy and timeless. I thought the base color is definitely, if you're someone who has to be mindful of wearing office appropriate shades, I think this could definitely fall into that category. The base is, I would say, a very neutral beige. It doesn't lean too warm or too pink or red. And then the gold in there, the bronze flakies are so complimentary in that base. They're in different sizes and shapes, so some of them are larger, some are more dainty and delicate, and then the hollow is just very subtle on the nails. So this one has a more curly-like base. It was very easy to apply and dry down matte, but didn't dry down too quickly. I was able to get full opacity for this in 3 coats, and I think 3 coats would suit most people. I would even say some people could probably get away with 2 coats for this one, but if you've got ridges or anything like that, you may want that 3rd coat. So here's what Here I Go looks like in 3 coats, dried down to its natural matte finish. I think this dries down to a beautiful matte finish. Some matte finish polishes I feel like still need another matte top coat. This one does not. It's so flat and kind of gives me like a stoneware kind of vibe. And then here's what it looks like with a glossy top coat. I'm a glossy girl, so I love it glossy. I think you can see the hollow a little bit better, and those gold flakies really pop in the base with that glossy top coat. Pictured are 3 coats of Stella Chroma. Here I go. Coming to the indie pickup shop this month is Stella Chroma's emulsified sugar scrub in the scent Lemon Curd. This 2.5 ounce tub is going to retail for $6.50, and there will be no cap. Oh my goodness, the scent is delicious for this. It's scented like light lemon with just a tad of vanilla. It's inspired by the British fruity spread, and I am fighting so hard not to eat this right now. It kind of reminds me of lemon cakes. That little bit of a vanilla scent goes a long way. It's very light and pleasant. I think if you like lemon smell a little bit, you will really enjoy this. It's so yummy. So if you haven't used Stella Chroma sugar scrubs before, they're absolutely wonderful. They've got, of course, sugar as the main ingredient, but lots of other moisturizing ingredients like sweet almond oil. So again, if you have some nut allergies, you want to take note of that. It's also got shea butter and cocoa butter, so your skin is exfoliated, but it's not dried out. I find that when I use this scrub, it has a little bit of a finer grit than some other scrubs I use, so it's not quite so abrasive, and it kind of suds up. After you get it wet, it gets a little bit creamy and yeah, just all around an enjoyable experience. If you are just dipping your toes into scrubs or if you've been using them for a while, this is one I highly recommend. We have 2 more beautiful polishes to look at today, and then we're going to take a look at all of the polishes from today's video, swatch side by side, and some beautiful outdoor lighting. So this polish comes from by Danny Viana, and it's called Cinnabon Sugar. It's described as being a mix of silver reflective glitters and brown metallic glitters. It's going to retail for $13 and will have a 500 bottle cap. Between the silver reflective glitters, the brown metallic glitters, and the holographic glitters, this one is just super sparkly. I can't wait to show you what it looks like under the flashlight. Now remember, because it has all of those glitters, removal is going to be very difficult and it's going to dry down to a sandy texture. I would recommend wearing it with a peel off base coat. You could also soak it off. And if you want a glossy finish, you're going to want to pair it with a glitter smoother of some kind. So this one built up really quickly for me. I don't think anyone is going to need more than 2 coats. If you go in for thinner coats, maybe you'd want to do 3 very thin coats, but it just has so many glitters. I think 2 is perfect. So here's what 2 coats of Cinnabon Sugar looks like in some bright, beautiful outdoor lighting. You can see the hollow sparkle. You can see some of the twinkle from those reflective glitters. It's so beautiful. And then, of course, to maximize those reflective qualities, you'll want to put it in some dark light with the flashlight. So here's what that looks like. It glows a bright, intense, silvery white, and those brown glitters in there just add a lot of depth. This polish is so interesting and incredibly glowy. Pictured are 2 coats of Cinnabon Sugar from by Danny Viana. And the final polish I have to share with you today comes from Colores de Carol. It's called the Captain, and it's described as being a light taupe gray crelly with red periwinkle and silver glitters. It's going to retail for $12.50. There will be no cap, and this is inspired by the Old Spice aftershave lotion. How hilarious is that? So I would say the base of this, I would consider it to be a gray leaning white. I didn't realize until I read the description just now that it was considered to be a gray. But if it is a gray, it's a very soft, super light gray. Depending on your skin tone, maybe it'll pull a little bit more gray on you, but on my medium tone skin, it looked to be almost white. Colorista Carol does a wonderful job with glitter curlies, so no surprise, this one was super easy to work with. I didn't have to swirl or fish for the glitters, they came out no problem, but I did want to do a little bit of placement just to get the red glitters evenly distributed on my nails. For some reason, the blue ones were easy to spread out, but the red ones I kind of had to move around a little bit. That being said, it built up to a wonderful opacity for me in 3 coats. I love the amount of glitters in here, the smaller, more silver glitters. There were lots of those, but there were fewer of the larger hex glitters, and I felt like that kept the polish from getting too chunky. I actually was able to smooth this one out just fine with a regular glossy top coat. So here's what 3 coats of the Captain looks like with a glossy top coat in the sunlight. Just such a fun, beautiful polish. I love the combination of colors in here. It's very creative, and yeah, I still stick by what I said. I think it's a gray leaning white, but again, if your skin tone is lighter than mine, it might look a little bit more gray on you. Pictured our 3 coats of the Captain from Colorista Carol. Now we're going to do a little recap and check out all of the polishes from today's video, swatch side by side in rainbow order again. So from left to right, that deep oxblood comes from Rogue Lacquer. The brighter red is from Bluebird Lacquer. The more pinky red comes from Drk Nails. The yellowish orange with the red flakes comes from Fair Maiden Polish. The dustier, more peachy orange comes from Leesha's Lacquer. The bright sunshine yellow comes from Pampered Polishes. That first green comes from Cupcake Polish. The sparkly glittery green comes from KBShimmer. That shifty green comes from Night Owl Lacquer. And then the one on the end is from Pepper Pot Polish. Now let's take a look at our purples. Look how many of them there are, and our neutrals. That first blurple is from Paradox Polish. The more grapey beside it is Heather's Hues. That shifting shimmer is from Patty Lopez. The one with the red to black flakies in the middle now is from Sassy Sauce. The one with the black and blue and pink and purple flakies is from Penelope Lou's. That more brownie plum color comes from MTK Design. The one with the hollow comes from Wildflower Lacquer. The one with the flakes is from Cuticula. That first light pinky purple is from Lynn B Designs. The rose gold flaky is from Bee's Knees Lacquer. The pink with the iridescent flakes is from Glisten and Glow. The copper green shifty is from Garden Path Lacquers. The matte beige is from Stella Chroma. The silver and brown reflective glitter is from by Danny Viana. And the gray white glitter crelly comes from Colorista Carol. I sure hope this video was helpful for you in deciding what to grab this month. If it was, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, do that too. So those are all the items I have to share with you for the Spices and Condiments polish pickup this month. Let me know down in the comments what you're grabbing, regardless of whether I shared it with you in today's video or not. I've been eyeing quite a few items, so I will list my wish list down there too. Alright, I hope you loved today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!